Guys, Jackie M, how you doing? Again, just give me 2 seconds while I share this out to my group and let me know where you're watching from. Say hello. And thanks for joining me, by the way. Let's have a look. Share to a group. And it is this one. Okay. Day 7. Okay. Guys, again, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Jackie M. I'm a former restaurant owner based here in Sydney, Australia from Malaysia. And obviously my whole thing is Malaysian food. And I am doing this 30-day challenge. This is day number 7 of this Go Live 30 challenge run by Paul Gray, who is the founder of the ACG method. So check out his Facebook group as well. All right. But anyway, so 30 days and 30 Malaysian cooking tips is what I'm on. Again, like I said, I'm on day 7. If you want to catch all my broadcasts, your best bet is to join my free Facebook group, which is the Jackie and Malaysian Street Food Kitchen. Now, we're going to talk about kaya today. And if you're Malaysian or you are a lover of Malaysian food, you will know what kaya is. Kaya is a coconut and pandan jam that we use on bread, on toast in particular, right? And back when I had my restaurant, I used to make my own kaya in-house, and I also used to sell it. It was very, very popular. And what really surprised me was the fact that a lot of Malaysians seem to think that it's really, really hard to make. And in fact, it's not. It doesn't have to be. All right. I'll just tell you a little bit about how I used to make it and also how it's just kind of evolved over the years. Okay. So what I used to do was I used to steam the kaya. And if you don't know, kaya is very simple. You just need 4 ingredients. Okay. You need coconut milk. I use coconut cream. You need eggs, you need sugar, and you need pandan, which is what we like to describe as Malaysian or Asian vanilla, or pandan. Usually back in the day, I used to use it. Hey, Cindy, how you doing? Pandan I used to use back in the day was actually pandan leaves that we would crush in a blender with a bit of water and then extract the juice from it and then add to the coconut and egg mixture, right? Now, the way I used to make it, okay, so you can do it this way. I would combine all 4 ingredients and then blitz it. Hey, Alfredo, blitz it with a handheld blender, okay? Just make sure it's all mixed up properly because it's important to get the sugar dissolved in the mixture. And now pour it into these pots, right? And then steam them, okay? People traditionally, if you've made kaya the traditional way, you will know the way they would make it back in the day was they would stand over a stove. They'll put it in a double boiler. So they'll have the, whatever the kaya mixture is in a separate inside another pot that has water around it. And they'll just stand over a stove and stir it for hours. Okay. And that's how you would produce kaya. So what I did when I had my restaurant was instead of doing that, I used to just steam the kaya mixture until it turned into a custard. All right. Once it turned into a custard, I would take it out and then use the stick blender again and blend it, and it'll turn out beautifully. So you'll have a nice, beautifully smooth texture. And now and again, what I would do, especially in the early days, I stopped doing it after a while. There's another version of kaya nyonya, which actually requires you to set aside like a couple of tablespoons of the sugar, where you would actually caramelize it. You'll burn the sugar, you'll melt it and then burn it till it's brown. And then at the last minute, you will pour it into the custard mixture and stir it around. It'll produce a browner kaya, right? But it also has a nice certain, aroma to it. Hey, Penny, how you doing? So that's how I used to make kaya. What I didn't realize when I taught my stepmom how to make kaya, I said, just steam it, was she had a go at it. She saw me make it at the restaurant, steaming it. And steaming always takes a long time. That's the other thing as well. Okay. So I'm always a little bit reticent as someone who owns a Malaysian food business, who have done so for like decades. I'm always very conscious about the time it takes to produce food because time is money, right? But steaming used to take a long time. Okay. And my stepmom did it. And then the next time I saw her, she said, oh, it didn't turn out. I threw it out. I say, why? What happened? She said, because it was all solid. And what she missed, what she didn't realize after steaming it, because she didn't stay around my restaurant long enough to check it out, was that after steaming it, you still actually have to use a stick blender to blend it. Okay, but at least with the steaming, even though it takes a long time, you're not actually standing over a stove in a double boiler and stirring it that whole time. Okay, so take advantage of like stick blenders, or even like jug blenders that you can just pour the kaya mixture into it and blitz it. Okay, people forget that sometimes the way things are done traditionally may have been carried over from the past, simply because back in the day they didn't have stick blenders, they didn't have blenders that could blitz this sort of stuff. Okay, now that was how I started out doing it, and then at some point I started producing my food. After I gave up my restaurant, I was still using a commercial kitchen somewhere else, and they had these fancy combo ovens. Okay, combo ovens that can do steaming and that can do traditional conventional oven functions. Okay, so one day we were steaming our kaya in these combo ovens. What we didn't realize was that we had accidentally turned the setting. Instead of having it on the steamer function, we had it on the oven function. Okay, so instead of steaming, our kaya was actually baking. And you know what, when we took it out and then we used the handheld blender on it, it still turned out fine. It actually tasted better. It was a little less gooey, if you know what I mean. It was a little drier, but it tasted fine. Okay, so that's another thing you can try as well. Nowadays, hey Annie, how you doing? Nowadays, what I've seen a lot of people do is they actually zap their kaya mixture in the microwave oven. Okay, so it's the same ingredients. Remember, eggs, coconut milk or cream, pandan extract, and what was it? Eggs, coconut, pandan, and what we got? Eggs, coconut, pandan, and yeah. So basically what they would do is they would like combine all of this and then just zap it in the microwave for like a minute, take it out, stir it around, zap it again, and stir it around, zap it again, and stir it. Okay, sort of thing. So it's the sugar, that you want to make sure it's mixed through properly. And then at the end of it, you will get sort of like a lumpy mixture again. But again, you would like throw it in a blender and blitz it to get it smooth, or use a stick blender on it to get it smooth. Okay. Hey Shah, how you doing? Hey Paul. So there are all these different ways to make kaya. Okay. Like I said, the way I tend to do it nowadays, because I don't sell kaya anymore. I don't have my restaurants, and I don't really have any particular reason to make it unless I want some myself. I want to make some to give to my my stepmom, because again, like I said, kaya is one of those things that Malaysians seem to steer away from making because they think it takes too long, because they have all these memories of their grandmothers stirring the pot of kaya like laboriously for hours. Okay, I actually use one of these, like my Thermomix or my Thermocook Pro. What these do is that they do the stirring for you. All right, so a lot of these kitchen appliances nowadays can actually stir for you. So you throw the eggs, the coconut cream, the pandan, and the sugar in there, and then you just let it cook. Okay, let it cook for like half an hour. Let it do the stirring, save you having to do it, and then at the end, turn on the blender function and let it blend it for you, and voila, that's your kaya. Okay, though, like I said, having said that, though, I now have a home oven that also has a steamer function, but it's not like the Chinese style of steaming where it really kind of like steams something like really wet steaming. Okay, it still has that oven vibe to it. Okay, and I've used that for kaya as well, and again, turns out beautifully. So it just reminds me of that time in that commercial kitchen where we accidentally turned on the oven instead of the steamer with the combo oven, and our kaya actually turned out really nice. So it produces, like I said, a less wet, gooey texture, but it actually works, right? So with the kaya, next time you want to have a go at making it, like I said, you can try the microwave oven. Some people are a little bit leery about microwaves. You can try the oven method. You can try steaming it into a custard. Again, remember, steaming does take a little bit longer. Or if you've got one of these devices up the back, throw it in there, let it do the stirring for you. Okay. The other thing I want to just quickly mention is the pandan that goes into kaya. I see a lot of versions of kaya where they look radioactive green. Okay. I'm very leery about using artificial pandan coloring because I don't like the the nuclear reactor green of some Cayenne in particular. I think they should look a little bit more subtle, a little bit more restrained. Okay, so if you can't get a hold of like pandan leaves to extract pandan juice out of, what I've come across lately as well is this product. Okay, this is pandan leaf powder. Okay, I'm not getting paid to promote this. Okay, this is actually sent out to me by mybluetea.com.au, and but what it is actually pandan, fresh pandan leaves that are being crushed through some special process so that they're actually still fresh. Okay, they're not kind of like destroyed or whatever. They're not like weird or mushy or anything like that. They actually smell like raw pandan if you open it up. Okay, so you can try throwing that in as well. It won't produce like a bright green color, but I think that's actually better. But yeah, these are all these different options about making kaya. But like I said, if you're not leery about using a microwave oven, throw all the ingredients in together, blitz them with a hand blender, throw in the microwave for a minute, take it out, stir it around, again, another minute, stir it around, okay? Or use one of these things, let them do the stirring for you, like your Thermomix or your Thermocook Pro M or whatever, or steam it, your hands off, you just throw it in the steamer and let it steam for a couple of hours, or throw it in the oven, or you can actually split the difference. Okay, maybe steam it for the first hour and then finish it off in the oven, just at normal baking. Okay, and then like I said, it will be set, but don't forget, just throw it in a blender or use a stick blender on it and blitz it, and it will produce beautiful kaya. Okay, and like I said, just remember the way things were done back in the day. A lot of the time is simply because they didn't have the technology to be able to do it any difference. Okay, so don't be afraid to think outside the box. Okay, so today was on kaya. Don't forget, this is day 7, and I've still got 23 days to go, 23 more tips with Malaysian cooking. So stay tuned and watch out for my upcoming broadcasts. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.